Hi, it's Rachel back again for what I think will be a very quick podcast. I actually am wrapping Hanukkah gifts, and one is it's a birthday gift. My son's birthday is around the same time as Hanukkah. And one of the gifts I haven't shown you in its finished state, so I thought I would pop on before I wrap it so that I could get a quick podcast in. So this is Yarn Equals Joy, episode 23. Today is November 27 of the infamous year 2020. Yesterday was American Thanksgiving. It was not like any Thanksgiving I have ever experienced, nor I hope ever experience again. I was here by myself. My kids are around the country. And we all decided, including my sisters who live here, that we were going to play it safe, and I made pies and let everybody pick up the pies, but had turkey by myself yesterday, which sounds horrible, but actually it was very calm, and it's been a difficult year, and so having just a quiet day where I wasn't at school teaching and I wasn't cleaning up after a lot of people was not the worst thing in the world. So finding blessings no matter where they are. So today, as I said, I have two FOs. I don't have a ton of stuff to show you, and that's why I think this is going to go rather quickly, but I could not possibly wrap this gift up without showing all of you the final product. So this is the Marshland sweater by Tin Can Knits, which is going off to my son for his 35th birthday. It came out pretty well. It did grow in the wash a little bit. I probably need to learn how to not be quite so tight with my floats. I love the way it looks, but it is a little tight through here when I put it on. He is really tall and slender, so I'm hoping it fits him well, but we will see. As you can see, the colors I think worked really, really well for this design, and I made a couple of changes. There's color work on the cuffs, which I did not do. I used a Cascade Eco Wool for the cream color, and then Blue Sky Fibers Extra in the other colors, which is a really lovely yarn. Sally the dog wants to be on the podcast. I think I told you last time about my surprise birthday present with Sally the dog, who Sally the dog was the birthday present, and she is clearly a little confused by the podcasting and trying to come into the screen. So again, this is the Marshland. I love the dramatic contrast between the cream and the black. I think it came out really well. Again, the only thing I'm a little worried about is the rib cage color work that feels a little tight to me. But again, I have a female shape with breasts, which he does not have, so I'm hoping that buys some room and it works. The second FO is something you have not seen at all because I had not cast it on a month ago when I podcast. And it's a funny story. I was looking up something else that someone had mentioned that was a Kate Celine, the dyer in England. It was a free pattern of hers. She has quite a few free patterns, I discovered. And one absolutely caught my eye. It was called the Squishy Dot Blanket. You can see a picture there. And it's a circular blanket. I happen to have a real soft spot in my heart for circular blankets, especially baby blankets. And I've been on a baby blanket kick, as many of you know, even though I have no married children or grandchildren. But they have friends who are having babies, and baby things are fun to make and whatever. So no excuses. So I cast on this blanket, but it was not easy for me because it is done in the round with a tiny circumference at the very beginning, which required me to use DPNs, which I'm not good at. And I decided that I was not going to use DK. I was going to use all my gorgeous fingering, but I was going to strand it double, and so I could marl the whole blanket. It took me several tries to get that little beginning, and when I did get it, I realized it left a little stem, which was not the intention of the original blanket. It left this little open stem here, which I don't know if you can see. I made another error and twisted the blanket or turned the blanket at one point so that I had been knitting, and then it looked like I switched it so it was the knitting and the purl side got reversed somehow. Both of those mistakes I loved. I ended up sewing up the little stem, and I thought of this as my belly button baby blanket. And I made so many changes to the free pattern that I think it is pretty much a whole new pattern. Mine is marled. Mine has this little baby blanket stem, but mine also has a picot bind off, which I added. I'm gonna cover myself up so you can see it's a really nice size baby blanket. I have blocked it. It was very curly at first. It is a really nice size. The colors are really fun. I'm going to get up a little closer so you can see some of the sections. This, I think, will be one of my go-to baby blankets. I love the feel of it. Is really squishy. The edging that you can see with the picot bind off, which did take forever, is really fun and adds a really nice finish to this. And I think it is a really, really fun blanket. Now, is mine perfectly symmetrical? I don't know. I probably could have blocked it a little more carefully to make sure that all the edges lined up, but honestly, I'm very proud of this. It was one of the most addictive knits I've had. I love color, and marling is my thing. Marling could be my middle name, Rachel Marl. I love it, and I love watching the colors play with each other and experimenting. And when I get back from school in the evening, this is exactly the kind of knit I gravitate towards, where I get to play with color and design, but I don't have to think too deeply. It was a two line pattern repeat. I mean, I put stitch markers in place where you do all the increases around, and it really was pretty mindless and just super, super fun, and I love the end result. So that will go to a happy baby somewhere, hopefully someday soon. Okay, so as I said, this is going to be really quick. There are only two FOs, that was two FOs. There are only two whips that I'm going to show you. I'm still working on the half wrap triangle shawl from Purl Soho that's also a cowl from Caddy Jack's Knits using Purl Soho's linen quill. Purl Soho has a sale going on, I think through Monday, if I get this up today and anybody sees it. The linen quill is beautiful to work with, and I really, really love it. Because it does have the linen in it, it feels more multi-seasonal to me, which I need living in Texas. I will say I'm not 100% sold on the combo that I originally chose. So I think in the sale, I may be ordering a deeper turquoise to go with this, which would then be made for a friend, although that is a whole heck of a lot of knitting to give away. And then I'm debating between either a pop of yellow as the other half of the pink, or to do what a lot of people are doing with that deep berry color that they have, which is probably what I'm going to do, although not 100% decided. So that is still in process. That would have been my mindless knit, but I think the belly button baby blanket totally blew that out of the water because I just am a sucker for a change in color. And one thing about the half triangle wrap, whatever, it's a lot of one color. So while I do love mindless knitting, part of what motivates me is seeing colors play together, and that's why the belly button baby blanket won out. And the second thing I'm working on is really an experiment for me. It's a pattern called Duffers Revisited. It is a felted, a little felted slipper pattern, which I think has been around for a while. I don't think there's a good picture of it, although there's tons of pages. I have tons of old wool because I used to felt, and this is a pattern that needs to be felted. So I pulled out some old, this is just Alon.com Sierra Aran Peruvian wool, 80% Highland wool, 20% alpaca. It's kind of a weird blue color with red undertones. It's really interesting, and it's this giant thing right now. So I'm really just experimenting to see if I like the fabric, if it felts into something. So I'm going to try that. I thought if it worked out well, it would be a beautiful thing to make and maybe embroider little flowers on the front and give them as gifts, because I'm always looking for more gift knits because I do seem to knit a lot for gifts. So that is it. I'm going to jump out of frame because I forgot to pull one other thing, and this would be a good time if you have the Pineapple Yarn Advent Calendar and you have not even opened the box to look at what it looks like, then you might want to turn off now or look away. I'm going to go grab that. Okay. Sorry for the ungraceful. So it came in this big box that said Pineapple Yarn 2020 Advent Calendar. And when I opened it up, there were some lemon candies, which I ate. And then there were some teas, which I've not gotten into yet. A little pink notebook. And then all of these brightly colored dotted yarns, which I haven't opened yet, which I will start to open on December 1st. I don't celebrate Christmas, I celebrate Hanukkah, but I like the idea of a yarn advent calendar. I like the idea of something that you get to open each day with little minis with a big surprise at the end. So yes, I treated myself, and it is a big treat. These Indie Dyer advent calendars are not cheap, but it will be fun, and it'll be fun to see what I can make with the minis. So sorry this was not a giant juicy episode. I really finished up a lot of things because of all the knitting I've done during the pandemic and during this week, and I wanted to get some stuff off for Josh's birthday and for Hanukkah, so I wrapped up a lot of the knitting, and so I assume I'll be casting on some stuff, or what I should be doing is looking at all those off-camera whip bags, yikes, and seeing if there's something that needs to get frogged or continued over there. So anyway, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a lovely day, whether or not you were able to spend it the traditional way with family. And that we just hang on there, that the tides will turn, we'll get a fresh start of a president in January. We will hopefully get a vaccine in January, February, and soon life will hopefully get back to a semblance of normal. But in the meantime, keep knitting. Yarn equals joy. It was nice to visit with you again, even for such a short little while, and thank you for looking at all my projects. Bye.